good afternoon, good evening, Laurens County, whenever you are listening or watching this. We are glad that you have tuned in to the Laurens County Lowdown, a brand new podcast from GoLaurens.com. We're excited that you're joining us on this new project that we're starting. My name is Andrew Corley. I'll be your host for today, and we'll be seeing each other moving forward at different times as we look at the stories and the people that are interesting to this community. So we're glad that you can be with us today.
Laurens County Lowdown is presented by Self Regional Healthcare.
Our guest today recently announced his retirement after 26 years in the Laurens Police Department. First guest on the Laurens County Lowdown, Mr. Heath Copeland. Chief Copeland, we're glad that you're here with us. Thank you for joining, and thanks for being our guinea pig as we do our first episode here today.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Well, we'll get into it, and I'm sure the thing that's on the forefront of everyone's mind is that retirement announcement. I know a lot of folks in my world, at least, were surprised at Freedom Fest when all of a sudden the news came out. So as much as you're comfortable, can you give us a little insight into why now? Why is now the time to kind of wrap things up for your time in the police department?
Well, it's kind of one of these, I've had many conversations over the 26 years, especially in the last 15 years, about retiring. And everybody says, oh, once you get to 25, get out, those different types of areas. But I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people. One was definitely a conversation I had with Chief Robin Morris before he passed away in August of 24. Because he did 44 years of service in this community. I mean, he's a legend, one of the greatest chiefs I ever would have worked for. And one of the reasons I always stayed around here was Robin. Talked a little bit of him, talked to my best friend who retired this year, who I started work with at the same time. Law enforcement's an awesome profession, but there's a lot of sacrifices that kind of come with it. And these conversations and talking to them, you never really promise tomorrow. A friend of mine, a fellow officer, Chris Moore, passed away just this year, and he had just recently retired at 25 years himself. And so I kind of started wanting to slow down a little bit, talk to God a little bit, and felt more and more each day that he was leading me kind of towards slowing down and getting out of the, I hate to use the term rat race, but that's the old term of when you're rolling every day and going 90 miles per hour. My dad's 77. He's slowing down a little bit on the farm, needs some help. And you know what? I just spoke with the mayor a little while back and said, I think it's time. And then after that conversation, he said, well, what do you think time-wise? What would be a good, when you're looking to retire? And I kind of told him the timeline, and he said, well, Freedom Fest will be a good time to announce it. We'll kind of keep it under wraps a little bit and kind of let it all go out at the same time. And I also knew that I've been working with Dylan for years, but especially since I became chief, and I'm sure he's got it all, and I'm not worried about the hands of the LPD. So it just kind of came together like that.
Good. Nice to hear a little bit of that. Can you give us, you touched on this a little bit, but I think one thing that people won't understand and don't comprehend unless they've been in law enforcement, unless they've been in that kind of role. We only see the outward aspects of the job. We see folks riding around in patrol cars, that sort of thing. Can you give us a little bit of insight? What are the things that go into this job that people don't see that, over 26 years, I'm sure start to build up and start to take up a lot of your time?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's the great, and then there's the, for lack of a better term, the sucky part of the job. Everybody's got jobs that they love, every great portions of it, and then there's parts that you don't. Building the relationships that I have between the community and the police department over the years, that's been one of my favorite things. I love all the events that we do and take part of, all things like that. One of my big prides is I always worked at the Laurens Prep Academy with some at-risk kids. Love that. A lot of times people don't realize the home life that some kids have. I grew up in a family. My parents aren't divorced. I never had to worry about food on the table. There's things I didn't know. I didn't know that there was real hunger. that some homes are that broken and struggles. So learning those things and bridging those gaps, it really meant a lot to me. I love to listen to people. I've heard back from parents over the years. I'm glad you helped save my child. He was going down the wrong path. And even some that have still gone down the wrong path, that I took the time to listen to them. That was always a big thing for me, to try to listen to everybody. Special Olympics, that is one of the greatest things that I've always loved, and I will continue to do that even after retirement. Helping those athletes achieve their goals. Every year they do the Special Olympics at PC. You of course know that. I've helped a young girl to sing the national anthem. That was her goal, to sing the national anthem in front of everybody, and she belted it out like, the best and was wonderful. I've run races while emceeing the event there, and I even got dusted, running alongside some people. Hank Corley, he took off and left me one day, like I was sitting still.
Hank's quick. You gotta watch Hank.
Oh, he is fast. He should have ran track somewhere. That's what Hank should have been doing.
Yeah.
But now the hard parts of the job is those late night calls. When you get a call that there is a deceased person and something has happened to them, or there's been a bad domestic, or all these calls at 2 and 3 in the morning, DUI fatalities, those things start to build up a little bit. Trying to think back on some things. I remember years ago, when Robin was here, there was a building that fell on a young, he was a man over there off of Cemetery Street. And while the fire department was working on him, I talked with him and was holding his hand the entire time. And the bad part in the back of my mind is I knew that once they released pressure, he was probably going to pass away. I've been to several fatality car wrecks that I've even known the people, because I've gotten to know so many people here in this town. I went to one car wreck one time where I knew the driver and did not even recognize them. And I've known them since they were, I think, 6 years old at the time. Those things start to build up. That's the job we choose to be in. And I loved every minute of and hated those moments, but I knew that you had to get through those moments. Well, I'm also a people pleaser. I always try to help everybody. And that's been a hard part for me in the job, because you can't please everybody, especially in this job. There's just no way. Now, I've always listened to everybody, and everybody doesn't always agree with my opinion, but that's kind of how the job works.
Well, and you and I have kind of a little bit of a similar experience in that we are in our hometown. And I know you're originally from Clinton and have come over to the bright side for work.
I still love my Raiders,
We'll get to that in a minute. Don't you worry. That's coming towards the end. But people ask me about working at my home church all the time, and the things I love more than I can describe, and the things that are frustrating, sometimes you wish these people were strangers, so that there was a little bit of a distance. But let's go back, kind of in that vein. Let's go back to the beginning of your career. It's 2001, or it's 2000, and it's time you're starting to figure out what comes next. What brought you into law enforcement, and then what brought you to Laurens and kept you in your hometown?
Well, that's actually an interesting story. Before I became a police officer, I was actually doing rodeo with Ken Treadway and working at Ingalls. And my best friend went to Erskine, got the job at the Y, working actually for Billy Dunlap as the athletics director. And then he put in to be a police officer at Laurens, and he got the job there. And he said, "Man, you need to come ride with me one night." And he said, "I think this job's for you." And so I did that, and I fell in love with it. And the funny part is he's originally from Fort Mill and went to work in Lancaster County about a year after I graduated the academy. So we worked together here for a year. And I grew up here, grew up on a farm here. I'm kind of more of a hometown guy than I am big city, even though I went to Citadel for college and then USC Union. But I just loved it here. And, it suited me. Now, I will tell you that the funny thing about law enforcement is everybody says you go through ups and downs. And forgive me if I talk with my hands, because that's just who I am.
Go for it.
But one of the things I got frustrated with in about 3 years into law enforcement is dealing with so much of the bad stuff that I was getting frustrated. I'm like, man, every time I'm out here, I'm either dealing with this person that had domestic violence or this or that. And I'm like, I didn't get a chance to meet everybody in Laurens early on in my career. So I started to seek out and go, hey, I want to meet everybody in Laurens. And so that's kind of where my career changed, really. And it really kind of locked in because I started seeing people at first, I'll go First Presbyterian Church with like Kay Monroe and lots of people like that, just talking to people and getting to know everybody in Laurens. Because as you know, I'm from Clinton, and back in the old day, it was, oh no, you didn't go to Laurens if you're from Clinton, or Laurens didn't go to Clinton if you were from. So I got out of that stigma, which has really been good. But yeah, I love it here. Just time to spend some time with the family now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that in talking to people in preparation for this interview, I think the personal connection that you've made with folks has really been an impact on the community. You know, the question I sent out to my coworkers, just giving them a heads up, hey, don't bother me if we're doing this interview, anything y'all want me to ask. And the question that everyone came up was, what do? I have his private phone number. Who do I call now? I've always been able to text Heath when I've got an issue. Who do I call now? And so the way that you've built up those relationships and the way that you've built up those connections, I know has been important to the community. And I think one of the things that is really impressive, looking from the outside looking in, seeing the dedication to service that you've committed to, and the dedication, through the Chamber of Commerce, where you've received awards and accolades and things like that, and through your work in the Special Olympics that we've already touched on. Are there other things like that you're especially proud of as you look back over the time?
Oh yes, I love. I will thank Chrissy Cofield, and at the time I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. She made me go to Leadership Laurens, which was through the chamber, and put me out of my comfort zone. Is okay to talk to people, but I was worried about other aspects of doing speeches and things like that, because that was kind of what I heard on that. Well, pushing me out of that comfort zone to do Leadership Laurens, I loved it. I loved learning that there was more in Laurens County than people realized. There's a lot here. And so through that, I actually became on the Board of Regents with Leadership Laurens. And now I've done, I think this will be my 5th class coming up. I'm actually staying on the Board of Regents to do junior leadership this year. But that was a big thing that I like. I love Rotary. She started me to do Rotary for Laurens City. And I've loved the friends that I've made through Rotary. I love the connections that I made through Rotary. And it helped me to learn to try to give back more each time. If I have to tell anybody anything in our community, is try never to focus on if there's something negative. Try to help out. Everybody should help out. And everybody can help out in so many different ways. Debbie Vaughn all the time calling for the museum stuff and all the wonderful things she's done and the volunteership that they've done there to help build just the museum. And we don't realize that when everybody works together and tries to help make everything better together, we're going to end up in a great place. And so those are the things that always will take place in my heart and treasure as I leave this office. And I won't miss the volunteering stuff because I'm going to still volunteer. I just will miss some of the day-to-day interactions that I won't have anymore just because of the nature of retiring from this job.
Well, and you touched on it. It is tough. You get on, read the comments on a Go Laurens article, or get in the weeds at Laurens County Residents, which I probably do more often than I should. And it is easy to see, it's the negative stuff that goes on and on forever. And that was something that was frustrating for me jumping into doing the football broadcast last year. Was as you get to know the team and the coaches, and you begin to see, and you've touched on it, there is so much in Laurens that people don't understand.
Yes.
So much in Laurens that I don't understand because of the vantage point that I have had my entire life, to focus on the negative without trying to figure out how can I be a part of the solution.
Yep.
Just is frustrating to see, and it took a lot for me to be able to, okay, I can't be getting in fights with these people every Saturday morning based on what happened Friday night. But
Yes.
but you have hit on it, and I think we can see over your career what you've tried to do, which is be a part of the positive and be a part of the opportunity. Let's touch on that a little bit. Over 26 years is a long time to be able to see, and the past 26 years have involved a lot of change, in the world all over, but especially in Laurens. I think this is a very different community than it was 26 years ago, and it's probably in the early stages of being a different community certainly than it is now, is moving towards something. As you look over these last 26 years, what are some changes you've seen in the community? Good, and if you wanna get into what are some changes that you've kind of been frustrated with, some negative things that you've seen that you hope we can improve, and what do you see? What makes you optimistic and hopeful for Laurens in the future? What do you see as opportunities for us?
I'm going to tell you, I've seen tremendous growth from the time I started till now. They all laugh around here, but I still call things by their old names. Example, like the J&K gas station. Those of you listening that have been around for more than 20 years here know what I'm talking about. The Bonnie plant, we used to have to go down to the bunkhouse and by the old Winn-Dixie, which is now the voter registration office over there, and the motel down there now, that was called the bunkhouse, and it was the Henry Laurens and different names. I remember the Oaks Theater and those things, and we've changed so much from those times. But I do like that I think people here are trying to embrace growth and at the same time not lose the good heritage of Laurens that is there. I mean, we are an agricultural community. We are a little bit country, as some people would say. I mean, heck, I remember when Walmart was where Tractor Supply was. Mm. And there actually was a little part in the parking lot after Tractor Supply and them came until Chick-fil-A opened up that was a piece of the parking lot was actually county's jurisdiction, and the rest of it was us. And if something happened in the middle of the parking lot, we'd have to figure out if we were in that square or not. So a lot of
that's the kind of thing that small town that people don't understand in other places.
It's like a lot of people don't realize the Pizza Hut out there is in the county. It's dead in the middle of the city. Pine Lawn Cemetery is in the county. And it's just those little intricacies that make our town different, but great at the same time. Trying to think.
I worked at Waffle House one summer while I was at PC, and back when there were two Waffle Houses in Clinton, the two across from each other. Yes. And on one side of the bridge, you paid city tax in Clinton, and on the other side, you paid county. And people would come in arguing with you about price because the two Waffle Houses had different prices because of the tax. It's
and they're like, but it's just right there.
Of the town. Right. Oh, and people get mad about how much their All-Star Special costs. It turns into a whole thing. And then I have to call you. It becomes an even bigger deal.
Yes.
Although that was Clinton, so you wouldn't have been involved. But
I will say one thing real quick about everything in growth is people need to get together and talk about it. Don't fuss about stuff. Let's actually talk about it and talk through things versus just because you may disagree with me or my opinion may be disagree with you. Heck, one of my best friends is a diehard Carolina fan, and you know me, I'm a diehard Tiger. But we love each other to death. And I mean, we can fuss and argue a little over the Gamecocks and the Tigers, but at the end of the day, we still get through things and try to work through things for the betterment of everybody. That's where I think people in the day and age of social media and everybody's got a platform, which is great. But it also let's try to keep it real too and talk through real issues versus just
well, it's so easy. It's so easy to just fire off whatever comes to mind, and I catch myself a lot of times typing things out that I realize nobody actually cares about. Yep. And I know that's interesting thing to say as I'm sitting here hosting a podcast, but a lot of times nobody actually cares what I think about that. This is just for me.
Yep.
And like you said, there are avenues
Mm-hmm.
for being a part of growth and change and opportunity that I wish more people would embrace and be a part of, because people are passionate about this community. And that's one of the
Yes.
things I think, we all love about it is this is home, and we care about it, and we care about the future of it.
Yes.
Speaking of the future, you took over as chief in 2024. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're preparing to pass the baton over to Assistant Chief Dylan Sherfield. What did you learn in that transition? Give me a little bit about, as you look back at that transition, what did you learn from that time that you've tried to, apply and help make this transition smooth to him? And what would you tell folks in Laurens as he takes over and becomes kind of the face and the driver of law enforcement here? What can we expect? What are you looking forward to with him?
Well, the one thing I've told him is I can tell you everything about my experiences of being chief, but until you sit in the chair, there are things that I just will not be able to explain to him. I did tell him he can pick up the phone and call me at any time, and he knows this. I just said, don't do it at 2 and 3 in the morning anymore. Jokingly a little, but he can. If he needs me at 2 in the morning, I'll answer the phone like I have. And like you talked about earlier, people having my phone number. My phone goes off all the times of the night, and it can be citizens and all that. And I answer it 99 times out of 100. And the one time I probably didn't is I was probably just wore so slap out that I was knocked out of sleep. That's one thing. He will be a very good chief. He is passionate like me about getting everything as right and done the right way. He's passionate about making sure that people are safe. Let's see what else. Work each day to be a little better. Be one thing better than you were the day before, because it doesn't matter. The only person I ever know that did everything perfect in this world is Jesus Christ. And the other thing I know is I'm not him, which means, yes, I've learned from mistakes over the years. I try to get better each time. If I learn something here, I try not to repeat my mistakes. That's one thing I've told him. Make sure to constantly be moving forward and looking towards the future, because change happens every day. The world of law enforcement has changed from the time I started. When I started, we hand wrote incident reports. Can you imagine that now? And so from that to the computer technology, and I will tell you, I'm not as computer guru. That's what I have Colby Rice over there at this city for. He has always kept me on the computer stuff, and Dylan is very good at those things. You're going to have to accept that you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. That is another huge thing that I've tried to pass on. That's hard for me because, like I said, I'm a people pleaser. I want everybody, even when I showed up at a call and I knew this party may be more right than this party, I still wanted to try to make sure that everybody left understanding the law and how it applies and treat everybody with respect. The biggest thing in my career that I've always tried to do ever since, like I said, about 2003, when I went through that phase of I want to get to know the community more than just the people that I'm dealing with a lot on a daily basis, is always smile and always wave at somebody. You never know where just saying hello might change and brighten somebody's day. They may be going through who knows what, but take the time for everybody. I had Sharon Wormley that works at Sanders told me one time, I seen her post on Facebook, and yes, I do see all the stuff on Facebook. I don't get in there and complain. I'm not a complainer unless it's sports, and we'll talk that later. But she always said he always stops and talks and waves to everybody, and it's not just me doing it for a photo op. I do it every day. Matter of fact, when we go to lunch, sometimes my guys, they're like, "Are you going to stay there for a minute and talk to people, or are you going right back? Because if we are, then we're taking a separate vehicle to lunch." And my wife always joked with me about that. and the kids too. One of my daughters is definitely like me. She will stop and talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere. But he will be great, and as long as he keeps those things, and then he will take this place even further than I did.
Well, we are looking forward to, I think, hopefully speaking with him as he gets into the process as well, but looking forward to him continuing the strong legacy of law enforcement here. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna move into what we're calling the Lowdown Lightning Round, and as we said, you're our guinea pig, so you get the first crack at it. We're looking for brief answers for these, so get ready.
Do I get to say pass?
Get up. Well, you're only a public official for a couple of weeks now, so I think you can go ahead and answer if you want. We'll start with one. Worst day of the year to be a patrol officer?
Halloween.
If you could, you've touched on this already. If you could bring back one Laurens establishment from the past, would it be the Oaks Theater or the skating rink?
Can I throw another one in there?
All right, we'll go wild card, sure.
Actually, all of those above, but Goonie Birds was always a good little restaurant meal place. But yes, I would say the skating ring probably would be the better.
The fact that we've never pulled back a sports bar kind of thing after Goonie Birds left, that is missing. Hobbies or Senor Garcia?
Oh, Senor Garcia.
The correct answer was whoever sponsors the podcast, but we'll go Senor Garcia is my Sunday after church meal, so we'll go with it. In the same vein, Laurens, Clinton, or Gray Court House of Pizza?
Ooh. Can I pass?
We'll let you we'll let you pass on that one since you came in strong on our Mexican restaurant question.
Yeah.
Would you say there is currently
I would
too
say
much
Laurens
parking
House
on the
of Pizza.
Laurens House of Pizza? There you go. Coming in. Took him a minute, but he came in for us.
So,
parking on the square. Too much, not enough, or just right?
I would say it's actually probably just right. I know that people will be, I laugh and joke that of all the hard parts of the job, lots of people fuss on it about parking on the square. But if you ever walk to Walmart and watch people at Walmart, I've watched people walk further to Walmart from parking out than they do on the square.
There you go. That's the thing that we're going to hear the most about.
Oh, yes.
Sheriff Chastain used to host wrestling matches. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
If you, Sheriff Reynolds, and Chief Addison from Clinton were in a triple threat match, who would win?
Oh, Michael would throw me out in the ring quick. I'm going to go with Addison all day on that.
All right. We'll go with it. We touched on this. One restaurant you wish Laurens had. You mentioned bringing back Goonie Birds. Anything else?
Goonie Birds would be good. One restaurant I wish we had. I would say an actual hibachi that cooks it in front of you restaurant.
That'd be nice.
Would be. Because you can get the steak, the seafood, and you kind of get it all with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a good one. All right, we'll go. We're coming up to our time, and we do appreciate you being with us, so I'm going to give you one more. We've talked about it already. You're a Clinton native, graduate of Clinton High School, proud graduate of Clinton High, Red Devil through and through. You've lived and worked in Laurens for 26 years. On August 28th, Coach Porter's going to load the boys up into the bus, and they're heading down the road. And the Raiders looking to make moves here in year 3 of Coach Porter's time. The Red Devils coming off of, maybe a little bit of I think people maybe thought they had a chance to go back to state last year, but still a great season for the Red Devils. A lot of pieces to replace. Coach Fountain doesn't rebuild. He just reloads at this point. Who is walking off of Richardson Field with the win?
Whew, that is a toughie. I will tell you why that's the toughest question for me real quick.
Yeah, Clinton has lost 2 straight opening games.
That is true.
No, I've done my research. I've got a preview show coming up here soon.
Oh, yeah.
Laurens has also lost like multiple opening games. No comment.
I wish we still had Ty. I'm just kidding. I will.
Well, that's our episode. No.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I do wish that. Dang. You know. Robin Morris told me one time. He said I was Clinton born and well, I can't say that. Clinton born, Clinton bred, and when I die, I'll be Clinton dead. So I guess I'm gonna have to go with the Red Devils. But I will say this: I love our Raiders. And I pull for them every game except for that.
There you have it. Chief Copeland hopes that both teams have fun.
Exactly.
We'll go with that. There we go. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Thanks for doing this.
How about an 84 to 83 score? Something like that where everybody...
Yeah, just run it up. That'd be something. Well, we appreciate you doing this for us, and we appreciate your service to Laurens. So thank you so much. I'll give you the floor. Anything you want to say as we close out?
I just want to thank the community of Laurens for allowing me to serve them for so long and be here. You guys, everybody here, I love y'all so much. I'm going to miss the day-to-day coming into town and doing, but I will tell you, Laurens is a great place. We have great people, and go Raiders.
Once again, we appreciate your service. We appreciate what you've meant to this community. I know me personally, I appreciate getting to see all that you've done, especially for our young people, especially for that work with the Special Olympics at PC and all of those things. You're going to be missed, but we appreciate all you've done, and we appreciate you joining, and we appreciate the folks who are watching and listening for joining us for this edition of the Laurens County Lowdown. Once again, a podcast from GoLaurens.com. Check us out again next week on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. This is Andrew Corley. Thank you again, Chief Copeland, and we'll see you next week.